Good evening and welcome back to the Mancunian Way. It's Thursday, you know what that means. It's Thursday night chat. My name is Martin, I'm your host, and we're a bit thin on the ground today for panelists.
What's happened?
I have no idea. I didn't know Pat wasn't coming on. I knew Ozzy wasn't coming on. Alan's not on. Everyone's just disappeared.
Oh, well, it's the elite. The aristocracy.
So yeah,
we'll be fine.
All farts tonight. So yeah, a couple of things. Don't know where Fee is either. Fee will be back at some point, hopefully. Yeah, a couple of things. I'll put that on. A couple of things I just want to show everyone. Good evening. There is now a new intro. There's now a new outro, and there is a new member video as well that we will leave as a surprise until we get a membership or whatever. We will play it, but there is a brand new membership video as well. See, been busy boy, as you've seen with new backgrounds as well, Rich.
Yep, and you can see something really critical in my background. My life is saved. Our new sponsor.
I haven't got my Ribena with me. Damn. Anyway, over 110 people here. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, or wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to Thursday Night Chat. First one of the season, first of many. Yes, then all. Thursday Night Chat is back. New season for the same old shit. Hit up the likes. Please share the channel. Liking, subscribing, sharing costs nothing, but is great for growth. It is. Good evening, Mingy Wong. How the devil are you? Good evening. Return to Thursday night stream. Hope we're all doing well. These were done ages ago, so big up to Mingy Wong and Briggsy for putting this up. Looking forward to the season, but it's too early to know if we'll do well in the cup comps. We're going to win the lot, mate. Don't you worry. We're winning the lot. Big up, mate. My club is finally interested in Belabor. Give Brighton, Cover and Phillips to plus 80 million. Who says we're interested in Belabor? Who said we're interested in Belabor? Why is everyone getting all giddy?
I just think there's suddenly all these rumours around Belabor. I mean, there's rumours, Trafford are after him. I mean, it's just, I don't know, maybe his agent wants to move.
I mean, I presume you're going off the Rob Dawson story unknown. I presume you're going off the Rob Dawson bit. But yeah, it would take. City looked at him in January and were told well over 100 mil. So I don't see it happening. Good evening, Adam. Kathy, hello. At least we're not Spurs. No, you got a good hiding by Bayern, really. Oscar Bob, Labour, Rodri Reinders, we're in the treble. Hello, DC. How the hell are you? Good evening. Hope you are well. Are we in for Labour? Is it paper talk? Listen, we have an interest. There's been no bids, no nothing, no even talks. So yes, yeah, that was I was having Wi-Fi issues. Steve, hello. Staffy, good evening. Sean, good evening. Carl, good evening. Lee Gates, good evening. Foggy, me old mucker, good evening. Fee, good evening. TikTok and podcast, Instagram updates coming soon. There you go. I need to remember, I need to send you the login for the TikTok stuff. That reminds me. Marshy Boy, good evening. Blue Heart, me old mucker, good evening. Who else we got? Loads of people in tonight, which is lovely to see. Rajiv, good evening, mate. Out of W. Neil, good evening. Yes, don't forget, watch along on Saturday, 8 p.m. at the old Manchester City Palmero. As you can see there you go. Saturday, it's already set up. Palmero FC versus Man City, 8 p.m. We will kick off at 7:30, so everyone knows. Buxton, good evening. We signed Paqueta. No, people are getting really carried away on signings at the minute. No signings are happening at the minute until some very drastic changes or happens. Lee, good evening. SOS, good evening. How's the barking dog, Rich?
They'll have something to say. Anyone that abuses stones or mentions the forbidden U word, the dogs will be.
Where are you tonight? You didn't tell us you weren't coming on. Do you know what I mean? The communication in this channel is shocking, Richard. Yeah, well, shocking.
I can't. Yeah, I'll just be teacher's pet. Don't worry.
Martin, is it true and interested in Donnarumma? Nope. Edison going to Galatasaray. Edison isn't going. What is this? Where are you all getting this information from? Where's all this information coming from? Baleba, Paqueta, Donnarumma, and Paqueta and Edison's off to Galatasaray. Where's all this come from? Hello, Victor. How are you? Tone City till I die. I don't think that's the real tone. Salute, fellas. Evening Blues. Paul Edgerton. Baleba. No, we're not getting Baleba, mate. ESPN reported along with City. That was January. We inquired about Baleba in January and was told over 100 million, so they bought Nico G.
It's silly season at the minute. You know, I saw a rumour this morning that Arsenal are swapping Rodrigo for Saliba.
Sam's got it. If you want Baleba, you got to sell Nico G then.
No one's mentioned Savio to Spurs yet.
Yeah, we are going to talk about that, Rich, because I was going to mention that. I did get your message. I just thought I'd let you stew on it for a bit. I don't know where people have all got this idea we're doing all this. Why am I so afraid? Afraid of what? Giving you bullshit rumors. So you want me to lie to you, Bradley? You want me to lie and say we're going after all these players when we're not? Okay. That's what. So people want me. Want us to lie now, Rich? They want us to lie to them.
Yeah. The funny thing is that, you know, you've got a chunk. I don't know, 10 or 20% of the fans in absolute meltdown because our club legends, our over 30s world class players, aren't out, and we haven't put our 19-year-olds in the team. And then another group who want us to sign a group of 21-year-olds to permanently keep our 19 and 21-year-olds out of the team. And yeah, I think there's when we've got a few players to get rid of, just to name the 25, I think the idea we're suddenly going to start adding a whole lot of players is a bit crazy.
Yeah, the thing we've got to realise is for Baleba to come in, it would take over 120 million and about 2 or 3 midfielders to go out the door, including Nico Gonzalez.
Yeah, and I honestly, the only way, Martin, I would see Baleba even being feasible is if we lost Rodri or Reinders for the season. Because for me, Baleba's far more a Reinders player. And why would we go and sign Reinders, who's one of the best in the world in that position, and then promptly go and sign someone else for the same position? Because Baleba is no Rodri. It really wouldn't make any sense.
I love people just make these rumours up as they're flying. It makes me laugh. It really does. Jack gone, and all the local City people have said no more incomings unless something drastic comes on. Graham Bailey came on last night and said City are done. And someone sticks out a clickbait rumour because they've stuck 2 and 2 and come up with 10 and everyone's jumped on it again.
Yeah, have you heard the Anthony Gordon rumour?
Oh, Jesus, not another silly rumour. It's just silly rumours.
Sorry, I just made that one up.
It wouldn't surprise me, It really
It'll
wouldn't.
probably be in the newspaper.
Exactly, Marshy boy. I don't know how many people are coming from news now. Is this where it's coming from? I used to use that on Man City Van TV. And what News Now website is an online aggregator. So like City Extra are an online aggregator on Twitter. News Now is a website for all. What they do is aggregate all the news, not only in England, but in Spain, Germany, all over the world. And if it's anything to do with City, they put it all onto their page in that site. It just makes you click. So, yeah, it's hello, JH77. How the devil are you? Martin in Madrid top, but apparently I'm scared. I don't get why Bradley says I'm scared because we're not buying, but I don't have a choice, I'm not in the committee of the transfers, people. Yeah, Edison's going nowhere unless Galatasaray massively up their offer because €3 million ain't buying his left leg.
Yeah, and it seems to be that they've put all the money into the deal for him and not into the deal for City. So it's a very, very good deal for Edison, but it's not one we'd be remotely interested in. So I assume that means they're more angling to get him in 12 months.
Yeah, that's what it'll be. Turkish reports, I don't care what Turkish reports saying, Ronald. They're not offering the money, mate. It's not a free transfer. They can agree all the contracts they want, but they're not agreed a fee. Shining New Town Syndrome, I think it is. Yeah. Wait, Sabio's going to Spurs. Spurs do hold an interest in Sabinho, yes. But it's going to take money to get him out. And I don't even think they'll let him go.
No, so, the only way we'd do that is if we wanted to, upgrade with a more experienced right winger. Of whom there is one who's fluttered his eyelashes at City, but in a way, I'm kind of quite keen to, see how give some of our younger players a chance. I think there's some players with real talent, and I would like to see them given a chance, not just go and sign a 25-year-old to replace them for 3 times the money.
Can I just ask this, because Cade, that's fine, and that's not a problem. 104 million is cheap for Baleba. Disagree with you. I don't think 100 million for any player is cheap, by the way. I think when you're paying 3 figures for a player, that ain't cheap anymore. Who are you dropping for him, Cade? Because you're not selling Undo. That's already been established. Cover's already said he's injured, so he's not going anywhere for the foreseeable. And Bernardo's captain.
Well,
so who's
going I'd go one stage further. I think if you sign Baleba, Rodri or Reinders has to go. Because when you spend that money, and for a player like Baleba, he's going to want to play every game. And to me, he's an 8. He's not a 6. Certainly not a 6 at City, so he's an 8. So if we sign Baleba, we're not going to play Reinders. Why did we go and spend, 60 million on you know, a world-class talent in Reinders if we're just going to promptly put him on the bench and sign Baleba. I think...
Hang on, Rich. Sorry, Citizen, what BS? You've made a comment. Now have a set of balls and explain what you mean by my BS. What BS have I said? What BS have I just said? I'd love to know. Let me know. Carry on, Rich.
Yeah, so no, I don't think Baleba's an option. I think, you know, he's not going to sit on the bench whilst Reinders plays, and Reinders not going to sit on the bench while Baleba plays. So, yeah, it just doesn't make... That's not a deal that makes sense. There are some big money deals people have talked about, you know, Rodrigo, that could make sense. You know, you could sell a Savio and get a Rodrigo in, getting in Livramento, an obvious gap at right back. But Baleba doesn't make sense because we've got everyone moaning we're not going to play Nico, and we've just signed Reinders, who's going to play the same role Baleba would play. You know, City would have to play Baleba at 6 instead of Rodri. City would have to change every bit about how they play, and they're not going to. You know, we'd probably struggle to get top 4 if we changed the way we played that dramatically.
Yeah. I'm just putting this out now because I'm just making it because we seem to be having a lively one tonight. Right. I will put this up quite very quickly so someone knows. Be respectful. If you are not respectful, say your opinion, but any personal attacks will result in a timeout and then ban if it continues. Simple as. We're not that channel. We're not 15 years old. So come on, let's grow up a little bit, eh?
Yeah. And I do think it's time, actually, with, you know, with the exception of right back, where I think all the fans will agree we don't have a specialist right back. We do have a lot of options who are perfectly good enough to be in a side that wins the Premier League. But we don't have the perfect right back. So if something came up, we might do it. But other than that, I think generally we should be talking about the players we have got, the players we've got coming back, and you know what's coming in the season. Yeah, but I guess my point on, you know, I don't think Baleba is a 6 by City standards. He is a real box-to-box player. I went saw him play live last year. He's box-to-box. He plays the role Reinder does. He isn't going to be able to sit in front of the defence, hold the ball, do the quarterback role that Rodri does, and do what City need in that 6. So if he plays for City, Baleba's an 8. We've just signed Reinders, who could well be, you know, he may have a bit of time to get back into Premier League, could be a world-class player, should be a world-class player in that position. So I just don't see why we'd go and spend 100 million on a bench player or drop Reinders. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened today. People seem to be real riled up yesterday. I don't know if it was the Kovacic news. I really don't understand it. Citizen, listen, I'm going to make this very clear to you now. You got an issue with me, fine. You're on the wrong channel then, mate. I'm allowed my opinion. Have yours. Be respectful. Last chance. Have your opinion. Do I even want City to sign someone? We've signed someone. You've signed someone, Bradley. How many more reporters do you want to tell you we're not signing anyone?
And I'd add to that, we've signed 4 players, all of whom
5.
Well, 3 of whom, yeah, but 3 of whom are likely to start, possibly 4. We've got another 1 or 2 players signed in January who are likely to start. So that's half a team. And when you think that actually we've got players who might well play, you know, Rodri, and then to another degree, Stones and Haaland, who missed half of last season, or in Stones' case, most of it, we are going to have nearly an entire changed team. And there comes a point where we need to actually settle on that squad and start working on how they're going to play together, who's going to play, and getting that team building. I'd be worried if we were still signing 2 or 3 players in the last 2 weeks. I think Pep needs the team. He doesn't need distractions. He needs focus on, topping up the fitness, because I don't think, to me, they look lean and fit. They haven't had the, summer on the pies. Sometimes players have. And we need to really focus on who's going to start at Wolves, who is going to play right back. Is the centre-back partnership definitely Diaz and Guardiola? How's Ait-Nouri going to play? Can we start Rodri, or is Rodri going to need a bit more time? Do we need another solution? So that's what Pep should be focusing on now, not focusing on signings, unless a player like Livramento becomes a possibility in the last 2 weeks, who we have looked at and seen as a good right-back option.
Well, the thing is, I think Ichigo Rich makes a brilliant point, because yesterday, when we had, by the way, Graham Bailey, massive thank you to Graham Bailey who came on. Please, honestly, he was amazing. Go back and watch that if you don't. Graham Bailey, Northeast or Northern reporter. Go and give it a watch. Really, really good. He doesn't Billy bullshit you. Doesn't tell you what you want to hear. Tells you the truth. And that's what it's about. Right, Ichigo, great point. People complain about Nico G not starting yet. They want Baleba. This is my point, Rich. It is the new toy syndrome. So yesterday, Nico Gonzalez was suddenly, why is he not playing? So, but we're going to play Kovacic and we're going to play Gundogan ahead of him. You buy Baleba. So, for example, Cade, for example, I'm only using Cade as an example, said we need Baleba. But Cade wanted to play Nico G yesterday. So what you doing with Nico Riley?
Yeah, and you can't
keep buying all these players.
And it's like they also have to be able to play together. And I just, sign Baleba. Does that mean Foden and Cherky are gone and we're just going to go with two 8s and no 10? Or does it mean we drop Reinders? I don't think, I think you need backup players, but I don't think Baleba is going to come as a backup player. I also think Baleba is so different to what we have at 6. He just could not play 6 for City. I think it would take him 2 years, and even then he might not be the right type of player to play 6 for City. So he's not a 6 option. I don't see how United sign him either. I think United think they could get him for 40 million and they're going to just have a rude shock, because I don't think they are close to being able to afford him. Unless PSR's gone and everyone's just given up, which might explain United's behaviour, but it doesn't explain Newcastle, etc.
Yeah, I'm going to be straight with you now. People. Oh, by the way, the other news today is one thing I do want to say. Massive congratulations to Nathan Ake and his wife Kaylee on their birth of their second child. So big congratulations to Nathan Ake and his partner, his wife Kaylee, on the birth of their second child. And we hope everyone is good. Baby and family and mother are doing well from everyone here at the Mancunian way. I just think the Baleba stuff, with people are getting worried now with Baleba because of the United stuff. It's because United's happened. Now all of a sudden we've got to buy him. It's like the Isak stuff. All of a sudden, Liverpool are buying Isak. We've forgotten that we've got Erling Haaland. So it becomes, I said, it's just new toy syndrome.
Yeah, but there's some things for Liverpool. It's interesting. I was watching briefly flicking through some channels last night, and I was watching LB on one of the channels saying, thinking he was being optimistic, saying Liverpool win the title by 8 points, and I look at Liverpool, and I think that Liverpool side last season would have come second to 4 or 5 of Klopp's teams. I don't think they were close to the Liverpool side of 19, of 20, 21 kind of period. And Liverpool are one injury away from a championship level centre back having to play for them. They don't have a CDM. And last season when I watched them, their whole team was based on Salah, a bit like Messi, free to do what he wants. And the rest of the forwards were really hard working defensively. Liverpool fans seem happy to get rid of Diaz, but Diaz was exceptional. When we were doing really well with Gabby Jesus in the side, and his work rate, got us the ball back so much and did so much for us. Diaz did that for me for Liverpool, and even players like rest in peace, Jota worked hard, and I just don't see Etikite and Isaac and Salah doing that work. I can see those three. Wirtz works hard, don't get me wrong, but if they have Etikette, Isaac and Salah, I think they go from a team with 10 defenders to one with 8, and I think that then puts pressure on their midfield. I think their midfield is great attacking, or has been good attacking wise, but it's not rock solid defensively. Although I do love McAllister as a footballer. He's a player who should have played for City. He's even though he's doing as well, he's wasted not playing for Pep. But I can see this Liverpool conundrum where they could become an injury or two really easy at the back.
They've not got a squad, Rich, and I will explain this later on. They haven't got a squad.
Kirk is not a great defender to me. Frimpong hasn't even had to defend because
they've only got 3 centre backs.
Frimpong's a winger, and he's not a big lad. It's not like he's a big defensive monster. So if teams get at them like they started to get at City, they could go like City last October, even if they have what looks on paper one of the best attacks in the world.
They've got amazingly on paper, but we don't know if they're going to gel. And B, I'm telling you now, their squad is not as deep as ours.
Yeah. If they went out this week and signed 3 defenders,
then I'd worry.
Not Isaac, I'd be very worried.
Yeah.
But I think
they need defenders, not a striker.
Yeah. They got goals last year, and he's 34 now, Van Dijk, and he was exceptional last year. But
last season, everyone said City and everyone last season was saying City and Arsenal would thing for the title. I did say Liverpool, but I thought Liverpool would drop out in the end. But I said one of the 3 would drop out, and that's clips everywhere. I did say I thought Liverpool would be in the race, but no one had Liverpool as favourites because they'd only bought Chiesa, and everyone was going, they've got the weakest squad out of the 3. They won the league.
Arsenal.
Why can't say this is what I mean? You don't win football on paper. It's not a computer game. This is not FIFA. People have got this seriously thing of the football is won on paper and on 11 digital people. And by the way, Pay, this is the part I was making to you, mate. I told you, yes, it is. Because it doesn't matter, Pay, who we buy or sign. For some weird reason, some in our fan base, some, I think it's wrong for another team to improve. And what we've got to do is just stockpile everyone. So we'll buy Baleba, we'll buy Watt, and we'll buy everybody to stop somebody else buying him and have and have 16 benches and 3 and 4 11s, and we'll spend 800 billion, and we'll sell that guy to buy that guy, and sell this guy to buy that. People don't live in the real world, Pear. That's the problem. They don't live.
And we still had problems with the smallest squad, with the injuries. We must have had the smallest squad in the Premier League by a large chunk of last season. We still had players left out like Grealish, and that meant some trouble within the camp, because I think there was clearly trouble in the camp last year when, whether Grealish was agitating. Certainly Walker was captain and was a problem when he wasn't, playing as well or getting his way. So we've got to we've got to make sure we haven't got £100 million players who can't get onto the football pitch, because that's a problem.
I've already said that, and I'll say it again. I think we'll win the league.
And I think the one thing that Liverpool perhaps ignore at their peril with Frimpong and Kirkes is just how physical and strong and big and fast some of those players are who are going to be playing against them. Like Frimpong is not going to be sitting in the opposition half putting crosses in like he was at Leverkusen, because that's not the way Liverpool play. He's going to be playing against harder teams, and I like the lad. He came from our academy, but I just think he's not going to be any better at defending than Trent. And is he going to get the assist Trent did?
Yeah, we'll see. Listen, I don't care. People can say what they want. I've never known so much. I said this the other day, Rich. We don't need rivals to slag our team off at the moment in our club, because our own fan base are slagging us off enough anyway.
Yeah, it's weird.
Some in our fan base are slagging us off. They're doing the rivals' job. They're doing rivals' job for them. And this is why, like Graham Bailey said, it's crazy, because I was talking to a Liverpool mate of mine today, an Arsenal mate of mine, and he went, "Are your fan base really going like this?" I went, "Yeah." He went, "My God."
Do you know, I think it's
They're shocked.
I think it's a small, the more I talk to different people, the more it's a small, you go on some of the forums and actually the 90% of fans are very reasonable. Like, it's very interesting. Like, there's been some real, on some of the YouTube channels on Twitter, there's been this real, anti-Stones, anti-Bernardo thing. But if you actually go on some of the old City forums, or you talk to City fans when you go and catch up with the Supporters Club, or you're talking to friends and family, you don't ever hear anyone talking like that. So it is this, I think a lot of it,
Too many football fans are living on Twitter now. They're living on Twitter and they're living in social media. And like I said, that's what that thing now, get out and touch grass.
Yeah, and I think we're becoming in a completely dopamine addicted world where people need that dopamine hit, and it's almost like a week without a new transfer, and it's a no dopamine hit this week. I'm going to go into meltdown.
Yeah, listen, I will back my team, because I'm telling you now, we have the best manager Name me a better manager in the Premier League right now. I wouldn't swap any manager in the Premier League for Pep. I would not swap Pep for anybody in the Premier League. And if you would, then you are seriously, in my opinion, you're spoiled.
I wouldn't swap him for
anyone.
You are spoiled.
If you swap Pep for anyone, you're spoiled.
I wouldn't swap him for anyone not in the Premier League either. But, on point. So.
And I'm not even sure I'd swap Pep with anyone in Europe right now.
Yeah.
One bad season does not make him a bad manager. Come on.
And what about, just to flip, be happy clappy for a second. We're
I'm
going
always
into a
happy
new
clapping,
season.
you know that.
We're going into a new season, right?
Slot. Oh my god. Oh my god. Are you a Liverpool fan, Bradley? Are
If
you,
he
are you a
wins the
troll?
next,
Are you a troll? We figured you out.
if he wins the next 9 titles. No, listen here. I
Bradley's a scouser. We figured him. He's a scouser.
Yeah.
You're
So
right, lad.
looking at
You're right.
Martin, come on, don't get carried away. Just
Yeah.
Looking at next season, right? Marmoush. I think Marmoush is going to be one of the best players in the Premier League next season. I think he is a budding superstar. I think he's as exciting for next season as I think Marmoush is every bit as exciting as if Isaac signs for Liverpool, or far more exciting than Etikita. I think Cherky, is going to be a little bit bumpy because I think it'll take a bit of time. But that guy has as much talent as any footballer in Europe of his age. He's, one of the most, the more you watch of him, he's one of the most two-footed players you'll see. And that's exciting because that gives defenders something different. But I think he'll take a bit of time. Foden back to his best, a new signing, that's going to be exciting to see. Reinders giving us an engine, box to box, that we haven't had for years. Brilliant player in Italy, that's exciting. And, me getting Stones back, if Stones stays fit, then you've got a new signing as a world-class player. Rodri back, the best player in the world the season before, hasn't played. Haaland, had a tricky season, carried an injury, missed a lot of the season. Haaland looks absolutely hungry. I mean, he looks to me like the Haaland who got 50-odd goals, 2 and a bit years ago. So there's all this to be excited about. And we're not talking about what's Cherky going to offer the team. What's Marmoush going to be like now he's settled in? How's Reinders going to change? Seeing Rodri back, Stones back, Ait Nori having a left back, which we haven't had for years. I'm excited about Trafford. I would hold Trafford back a little bit and play Ederson if Ederson's staying, to give Trafford, 3, 4, 5 months, start to bring him in a couple of Champions League games. But there is so much to be excited about this new season. And, the fans need to just turn away from worrying that we might not sign Baleba, because we're not going to, and start to think about the 100 presents we've already opened. It's like Christmas. You've opened some of the best Christmas presents, and by 8 o'clock in the morning, you've left them, and you're wondering, what someone else is going to bring you, and you haven't even taken the bike outside and ridden it down the street. I mean, it's madness. Let's get a bit of
Kerry, where I would
disagree
with you, where I would disagree with your comment here. Overall, Pepper's clearly better than Slot, not even a question. But why are we acting like he's better than him today? He is. So when Claudio Ranieri, Kira, won the league with Leicester City, was he the best manager in Europe or England at the time? Mourinho was manager and all these. Was he better than them then? When Roberto Di Matteo won the Champions League with Chelsea, was he the best manager in Europe at the time? And be honest with me.
Well, and flip the question, Martin.
Because he got sacked at West Brom the year after.
If last season, Slot had been, triple injected Akanji and Cameron Puzzi at centre back, and not fit, number 8/10 at 6, which Pep had to deal with, would Slot have had that team that was losing every game in October, winning every game? No. If Pep had had an informed Salah and Van Dijk to put into that team last season, would City have lost all those games? No. So it's just, the one thing that is absolutely clear is that we've had 2 seasons in the last 8 we haven't won the Premier League, and in both of those seasons we had a massive crisis of injury at centre back. we had absolutely catastrophic in both seasons. We had all 4 of our main centre backs injured. Both of those seasons, we had to, play midfielders or academy kids in there, and that's when that spine went. We suffered. So, it doesn't surprise me that we couldn't do it last season any more than when we couldn't do it in 2020. Because if you don't have a fit spine, no manager in the world, no team in the world is going to do a good job.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I mean, can I just say this, by the way? Stephanie, big up. Hi, Martin. Fingers crossed with tomorrow, my cancer check-up. Hope everything goes okay. Thoughts and wishes are with you. Please give Stephanie a big up in the chat as well. You know what we're like. We're a family here. We look after each other. Big up, Stephanie. Fingers crossed for you. Much love. Few super chats. Lee Gates, thank you very much for the very generous £10. Really do appreciate that, my mate. Few outgoings think will happen before deadline day. 100% a few will. McAtee's already virtually done. McAtee will be a Nottingham Forest player but for the new season. I think Grealish will go out as well, and there'll be others that will go out. But I think our midfield options are very good. Plenty of minutes there for everyone. And competition for places is something we didn't have last season. Spot on. Well done. Spot on, Lee. A very mature comment. Connor, very thank you also for the very generous £5. Hey, Matt, I just want to say that our squad is fine apart from a right back. I just wanted to ask if Sabino actually left, would we bring someone in? Yes, I think we would. Because then you're losing Grealish and Sabino. Then I think you will. I'm saying, Connor, Jack Gorn has said it, and people, Jack Gorn is very close to the club. Sam Lee has said the same thing, close to the club. These are local journalists to Manchester City, not somebody on Twitter who doesn't have the leaks to say that they do. They have said, unless something massive changes, there are no more incomings. There is no right backs. They've got enough with John Stones, Akanja, Rico Lewis, Kushinov, Nunez. They feel they've got more than enough options to cover right back. We are done with incomings. So, this is what I'm saying. This Baleba stuff is old news hashed up from January, where we did inquire for Baleba. We were told not for sale unless it was a stupid bid. We walked away. We bought Nico Gonzalez.
Yeah.
You're not buying Baleba. Move on from it. Baleba is not happening. Cry, Paddy, slam your body around, throw your toys out the pram, do whatever you want. It ain't going to change it, people. But big up, Connor.
Yeah, and Martin, one thing that I haven't heard anyone talk about last season, because it was Liverpool, and they're a cult who are absolutely fainted. Only one, as I think you have to go back to mid Ferguson till, apart from only Leicester have won the league on a lower points total than Liverpool last season since way back before Aguero's goal. In the last sort of 15 years, the league's been won on average on about 91, 92 points. Liverpool won it on 84. Liverpool won the league last year easily on a points total that really, to win the league comfortably, you'd have to go back to 20 years since the league was last won with points totals like that. Liverpool's own points totals, I think it was something like 5 times Klopp had higher, or 6 times he had higher points totals than Liverpool had last year. So last year was a massive drop off. City dropped something like 15 to 20 points lower than their average under since 18. Arsenal dropped massively, but even some of the teams in the top 4 or 5 dropped points. So Liverpool won. Liverpool would have been 15 points behind themselves, in a couple of, 19 and 20. So it's not, this isn't a team with results that, City should moderately improve, get higher points than Liverpool got last year. Liverpool, to me, need to improve at least 3 wins to guarantee themselves the title this year, because I don't think it's going to be, I just don't see Arsenal and City dropping close to the points. So they've got to improve. City have got to improve. Chelsea have got to improve. Arsenal have got to improve. And I actually do think that, although Arsenal, have lost, one very good player, not very good human, but very good player, they've made some good signings. I think they're a strong squad. They've got a very solid squad. I don't know that they've got quite the same number of top players Liverpool or City may have, but they've got a lot of positions where you look at it and think, Ben White, reserve right back, that's pretty good, so they've got a better squad than Liverpool, but not a better starting 11. City have got a better squad than Liverpool. Starting 11, I think it'll be interesting. I still like City's overall, but a lot of people might say Liverpool. So it's not a foregone conclusion. Just not a foregone conclusion.
Of course it is. Game over, mate. We're all done.
Well, we're going to win it. Yes, foregone conclusion. City win. Yeah.
Samir, is our interest in Belabor true? We'll always hold an interest, but there's no movement and there won't be any movement, Samir. It's what ESPN have been a bit naughty. They've regurgitated an old story from January and chucked our name into it. No, we're not interested at all. Not right now. We've no roommate. You've got Nico Gonzalez. But Cade, what's up with you lately? You become a right old, what have you done for me lately person, you, Cade. Tell you, Cade, you need to stay out of some of these Twitter spaces, mate. You're listening to too many of these Twitter spaces, Cade, lad. Telling you. You're getting all giddy at the minute. Why will Savino leave? We don't want him to leave. Exactly. No, it was just Tottenham having interest in him. Super Twins, I did notice this. Did you read this, Rich? Random matter. We've seen Ike Kimmel's been jailed for 2 years. I knew he was close to he was close to Byron.
I saw some, there was an article about a year ago about, he was living in real poverty and in real rough situation. So I hadn't heard he'd gone to jail, but he was having a really hard time of it.
For one season, Ash, yes, I am. I think we've got enough to cover us for one season. I hope he's all right and everything else. If Jack Gordon says anything City, you can treat it as gospel, yeah. Martin, are we going to go another season with no 115? I don't know. It is the biggest guarded secret in world football at the moment, and it is what it is.
The one thing I would say, Martin, as a caveat on that Jack Gordon gospel, because I think that's fair, is that every single player, every single journalist said we're done before we signed Akanji, and we decided we needed to do something.
Before we signed Diaz as well, Rick. Do you remember?
Yeah, before we signed Diaz, And then the other thing is, we've now got Viana, and so we don't know whether Viana is going to deal with the media in the same way, as transparently, etc., as Cheeky did. They'd worked with Cheeky for over a decade. 14 years was it? It was a long, or 13 years Cheeky was there. So the journalists had worked with that organisation and knew it backwards. Viana might brief the press with things that aren't true. So you never know.
That's a great point by Buxton. Do you remember when Liverpool had their granddad? When they had Fabinho and all that? Didn't they finish 5th? Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they finish 5th?
Yeah, they dropped out.
They finished in Europa League, didn't they?
Yeah.
But we have our bad off season, and we finished third, and we were the most informed teams from January onwards. Anyway, Rich, like I said, I mean, we've already talked about it, but we're going through it at the moment. Are we ready? I honestly think we are ready because, like I said, and I know people are gaslighting it, but I really got pumped after that open training. I really did.
Yeah, no, it's going to be it's fitness as well. I mean, you know, we've signed what 9 players or whatever it is. About 8 will
Play
be in the
nice
squad
in the chart.
since
Play
January.
nice in the chart.
But how many new signings could we almost have from within the existing squad? You know, Rodri's a new signing.
Hang on 1 minute. Harry, I know who LaChilbler is, top guy. I don't think he meant it I know you're doing your job, Harry, and I really do appreciate that. Harry's only doing his job, LaChilbler, and I know you didn't mean it in a derogatory way. Harry's just looking out for the channel, LaChilbler, but I know you don't mean it in that way. It's all good, lads. Move on. It's all good. 2 top lads. Let's not fall out. Carry on, Rich.
Yeah, no, I've almost lost where I was going. Do you think one thing that I thought the other day watching that Levy interview, you know, someone just mentioned the 115 below. Do you think the fact that the other teams at the top are spending as they are, and I think both Arsenal and Liverpool, you know, I think United, probably Newcastle and Chelsea are, they've really started to spend and try and improve. Do you think that relates to the fact that they perhaps think or know the outcome and they've realised finally that they need to win the league by improving, not by thinking that someone's going to put a handicap on City and pull City down, and that winning the league is going to be about getting 10 more points, not someone deducting 10 points off City? Because I do sense just a bit of a difference in, you know, in most of the fans, obviously the same, you know, the 5% fans with the same boring comments who haven't read anything about it, always goes on. But
I love the way you do that, Rich.
Do you sense in football just a little bit of a different feeling? Like they're thinking, we've got to go and beat City ourselves. We're not going to be able to beat City off there. You know, even Levy, who years ago would have talked about that with real energy and passion, and we've got to get City, was a bit more like, we've wasted lots of money. We should have just done it internally. So the very you know, chefs of this mess seem to be backing away from it now, almost like they're just going to let masters take the fall and pretend it was nothing to do with them. Yeah, we wanted to just do it internally, but you know, it just seems to me there's a real, and just Graham last night on the show, or was it last night? Was it the morning? You know, he seemed to be like, yeah, everyone thinks nothing's happening in football. That's what all the journalists think. So, you know, it's fascinating.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm seeing too many signs, Rich, and you know this, and I'm not going to divulge your job to the world. But when I'm seeing Puma, Nike, and Adidas all having a fist fight for the kit sponsorship, because by the way, there was something that was totally missed out of that Puma deal. You know, the £1 billion 10-year deal. Do you know Adidas and Nike also offered those record deals on their behalf? Adidas offered us 85 mil per season, so 850 mil, and Nike were at, I think, 700, 800 for theirs per season. Nike, Adidas, and Puma are not small little entities of. They know what they're doing. They've got the right people. You know what I mean, Rich? They don't have idiots at the top of this game that are doing this. And what people don't realize is when you do a sponsorship deal, it takes months to negotiate. I do think sometimes, Rich, I think people think sponsorship deals, you know, shirt sponsors, and they go, or it's not market value because the shit now, but with the shit 6 months ago, because they were the shit 12 months ago. You do honestly, I think some I'm not sure if it's just naivety or I like to think, Rich, it's because it's not explained properly to people.
I think it's it's interesting that those companies who make those deals, right? Firstly, there are, they will have professional organisations working with them whose sole purpose in life is valuing sponsorship. There are a number of big organisations out there whose sole purpose is to value sponsorship and actually tell anyone who's doing, whether it's a kit deal or a shirt sponsor, what it's worth to them, what their exposure is going to be. They are told how many people in the world are seeing their sponsor on that kit at any time. So, the companies out there who say, if you are a sponsor on Messi's shirt, that each day, 800 million people are going to see Messi, and they're going to see him for an average of 2.5 minutes. So your brand exposure is that. So they've got these deals. They know the number of kits they sell in every country in the world, in every jurisdiction in the world. They know what, when people go in and buy a City shirt from a Puma shop or another sports shop, they know what other Puma brands they wear. They know what it does to their boot sales. They know everything. And so they're doing it with a very big business case that costs up the benefit they're going to get and what they can afford to pay. And I guarantee you, if they offered 70, 80 and 90, they all probably felt it was worth 150, 160, 170 a year to them, because they're going to be looking at, double or more in terms of a return to what they're paying the clubs. And it's because, they know that, you can have 500 million fans in the world. If they're all 55 and they don't buy kits, they don't buy stuff, they don't buy sportswear, they're in countries where people don't do it, they're worth nothing. If they're going to go and spend 300 quid on your stuff, I'm glad we stayed with Puma, because Puma put City first.
And great Bailey shake. By the way, can I just clarify, shake? I'm mainly talking about some fans on Twitter, shake. The way some fans on Twitter are behaving is, I don't mean, listen, nobody in here, and I would say it's the majority of City fans are very sensible. The trouble is, shake, the loud minority are the loudest. That's the problem. You know why I like Puma, Rich? They've embraced our history.
Yeah, they're also we're their number one club. I don't know. I mean, when I've been to London for work, I often stay quite near Puma's flagship store, and it is half City shop, half Puma. In the window, in the place, it is, you go in and it's City first. If it was Adidas or Nike, you'd go in and City would be one of 6 or 7 clubs, all of big status. I'm not saying City should expect to be bigger than Barcelona or Madrid or Bayern Munich, PSG, Liverpool, Arsenal, etc. But if you go Nike or Adidas, you're going in to be one of many, a template kit, and you're one of 8 big clubs they have sharing that reliance, and you won't be the biggest one. That'll be Real Madrid or whatever. Puma, we can be the football face of the company, and so they put City ahead of everyone else, and I think that's fantastic. Adidas and Nike wouldn't have time to worry about our history. They've got their kit for that season. They've just got to make it look different for 15 different clubs, and that's it.
See, I didn't like Nike. I thought Nike were crap. I thought they were boring. Thought they were generic. I love the Puma stuff because they're understanding our history. So you've got the Hacienda kit, Manchester, very famous nightclub here, Hacienda. You talk about this year's kit, the black away one. It is to St. Mark's, where we used to be St. Mark's Church. So going right back to our very, very early days. So this is why I don't think Nike did anything in our history. And I'm sorry, as a football club, if you do not remember your history, you are on your way to fail in the future for me.
Yeah.
Because there's an old saying I always have, and everyone hates it: you cannot embrace the future without respecting the past.
Yeah,
and I firmly believe that.
A lot of us have, nostalgia for Umbro, but I think the reality is, aside from Adidas, Nike, Under Armour could do it if they wanted, and Puma, no one now has the infrastructure, the marketing, the worldwide retail networks, etc., to be able to do kits for the biggest teams in the world. So I think you are probably limited to 4 teams.
I'm not saying I don't like Adidas, Rich. I don't have any Puma tops. I like Adidas, but for the Manchester City football tops, I prefer Puma to Adidas. That's all I'm saying.
I'm saying it. If we were Adidas, we would be, we'd be behind, probably behind Madrid, probably behind Munich. We'd be fighting with Arsenal and United for their
Colin Bell shirt,
attention.
Rich. Yeah. The Colin Bell shirt. How many nods to the club and history the Puma have to do?
Yeah, I love this year's black shirt. I'm not a massive fan of their home one, but the black one I think is amazing.
Look at this. Pat's here in the chat. He's not on screen, but he's in the chat. He's Aussie here as well. So Aussie's here and he's not in the chat. So Aussie's in the chat and he's... Jesus Christ, there's more Mancunian Way people in the chat than is on screen.
Do you want me to tell you the truth, Martin? Because I know what's going on. They were a bit intimidated by the fact you were getting turkey teeth and a new haircut. So I think and you tan. So I think they're thinking we don't want to be on the on the channel with this new bronze Adonis with his new hair, new teeth, new tan.
Blue Goat 45 has renewed his membership for the 14th month, which means we can unveil it.
I'm emotional. I mean, this is a dream come true. All these guys deserve. All these guys are on
here. Rodri's on fire. Your defense is terrified.
So, Martin, question for you.
Another one, Rich. Bite your dick off. Thank you.
I'm emotional. I mean, this is a dream come true. All these guys deserve. All these guys are on here.
So, a quick question for you. Now, I'll let you give a couple of answers, but who are you most excited to watch this season? Now that you can give a couple of answers if you want to give a new signing and someone coming back from injury or coming back from form. Who are you most excited about seeing, and who do you think is going to be the the real star that shines brightly this season? Who's going to step up, step out? Just what are you thinking?
Different things, right? Let's go through one at a time.
Who are you most excited to see? When you watch the first game of the season of Premier League, which player are you getting? Cherky? Yeah. And which player do you think is going to be? Who do you think is going to be our player of the year? Who do you think is going to really shine? It doesn't have to be someone new.
Johnny Reinders or Phil Foden?
Reinders or Foden? Interesting. Yeah, I agree with you on Cherky. And I think part of the excitement with Cherky is I'm really not sure whether he's going to hit the ground running or not, but I think he's going to do some absolute magic. I think he'll probably infuriate people, and we'll probably have Alan on the phone a couple of times. Cherky this, Cherky that. But I think it's exciting. But it's Marmoush for me. I think Marmoush is going to go close to Player of the Year. I think he's going to not just at City. I think he's going to be a real Premier League star, and his profile worldwide is going to be in a different stratosphere at the end of this next season coming than now. I'm really quite excited to see him. I think people don't recognise the impact he's going to have.
No, I like it. I just think Reinders is going to be such an important. I'm so excited for Reinders
because he'll change the team.
Yes, and you see that touch of class about him. And Foden, like I said, there's an old saying: form is temporary, class is permanent, and that's Phil Foden for me. And Cherka, I just think we'll give you that little bit, but that he's a little bit of an enigma. I don't know what I'm going to get from him. Am I going to get 10 minutes of magic, or is he just going to win a game for me? I don't know. I don't know.
You know what he offers, and I think this is real. I mean, this will be a massive thing against a low block because he's so two-footed. He can go either side of a player, and I think that's going to be really hard to defend against. So I think he's going to beat a man around the box against the low block in a way that we haven't been able to in recent years. And I just think that, and I think he and if Foden gets upon that also will unlock Doku, because I think Doku can beat a man just for pure pace, but often teams have dealt with that by just putting a second defender on him. So he's completely marked by two. And if he does get past the first one, the second one's waiting. And I think that if Cherky, Foden and things can actually put a bit more pressure on the defence, they can start to pull defenders off players who are being overmarked at the moment.
Yeah. Hey, Alex from the top. So glad I took the summer off. I'm out the loops. Rumours have been a wonderful, and I hope you had a lovely summer, by the way. How's things right now? I've had a lovely time in Turkey. I didn't get my hair done. I didn't get my teeth done, despite the rumours that have gone round. I didn't. I had a lovely time. I've had a lovely reset. Rich is frozen. No, he hasn't. I thought he'd frozen there. No one wants Lecoq Sportif back. No, they do not.
Oh, gosh. Do you remember how they used to peel off? The badge would peel off the first time you watched it. Oh.
That Lecoq Sportif was shit.
Yeah.
I agree. Totally agree with you, Stacey. Martin is the final boss. I'm not really, though. AK, renewing for the 14th month. Thank you so much for your kind generosity. And Rajiv has renewed for 1 month as well. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. I've got something else to show you in a minute. Whoa, where's all that gone? So, yeah.
I'm emotional. I mean, this is a dream come true. All these guys deserve. All these guys around here.
Yeah. And for the... I know it's originally a Mancunian company and has a lot of heritage with City, but I don't think we're ever getting Puma back. Umbro back. Puma will be 100, 200 times the size of Umbro with the infrastructure behind it. Umbro could not produce, distribute and market for City anymore. They just wouldn't have the capacity to do it. So sadly, as iconic as it is, unless they get bought up by Puma or Nike or Adidas, that it's not going to happen.
What's going on here? I think LB's trolling you all. To get into the old. I think he's trying to get you over there because I know what it is. It's the Donnarumma stuff. Because what they're saying is because they're saying that Pep wants Donnarumma. I know what's going on there. The rumours again. Pep wants Donnarumma. So Trafford's pissed off and he's going to go to. He's not. I don't. People are really believing all these rumours right now.
Yeah, I don't. I've never really. Yeah, I've never really thought he was a City player, to be honest. Fantastic goalkeeper, but I've never thought he's a player with his feet that Pep would go for.
Yeah, I think people are believing what's going out on Twitter right now. What were you in here? Seriously, no, people.
Dopamine, Martin, dopamine.
Oh, look what I've got, by the way. Look what I made up for him. Do you like it?
That's quite funny.
Got it all ready. Yeah, this is why you should. Martin, you believe Bruno G? No, because I had people at Newcastle giving me the information, spicy potatoes. It wasn't some guy randomly off Twitter that was getting the stuff directly from somebody at Newcastle that City were in for Bruno. And all City had to do was trigger the release clause. They wouldn't do it. They didn't value him at 100 million.
Yeah. And I also don't. I think there is something in the.
What is the City player that's supposed to be asked? What is a City player? I don't get that, Bradley.
Yeah, that doesn't actually
Can you
make
explain
sense.
that to me, sorry? Paul, good evening, mate. How do you, mate? By the way, Paul, if you ever want to come on, let me know, mate. I know Thursdays you struggle with because of work, but if you want to jump on, mate, you're always welcome. You know that. People need to learn how to critically think. Well, LB's doing a stream now that Donnarumma's coming to City and Trafford's going off. What's going on? Everyone's gone sideways.
What, Donnarumma can't pass the ball?
Martin, will we have... No. You'll still get some of it, but not like last season. Trust me, things are going to change. Pep Linders, James French, and Colo Torre are going to have people moving a lot quicker.
Yeah. I think people, what people don't realise, I think, is that boring sideways football.
My apologies, but we did. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Boring sideways football happened because we couldn't afford to lose the ball. And so we had to retain the ball at all costs. I think Pep realised we had to, to make sure that we didn't keep conceding the goals we were. And boring sideways football was a way to retain the ball and play very, very low risk football.
Question is when we will get to used. What used? That's a t-shirt, Martin. Maybe it is. Back for the next 10 years. Spice to the Bruno G night. Yeah, but it was. We've done everything apart from all we had to do was make the bid. All we had to do was make the bid. Etchmere, at the moment, we have turned down everything from Roma because Roma want a compulsory buy clause. We've said no. So, yeah, some memberships, Rich. Cheddars has renewed for a 15th month. Thank you so much. Followed by Sean for a 20th month. Thank you so much for your kind generosity. I've not got over this chest infection fully yet. And Bradley has renewed for a 5th month. Thank you so, so much. And you know what that means?
I'm emotional. I mean, this is a dream come true. All these guys deserve. All these guys around here.
And Outdoor Bench with a very generous £5. Is that a super sticker, I'm presuming, or super chat? Sending support, love heart. Thank you so much, Outdoor Bench. But yeah, Rich, I'm really ready for the season. I honestly think we'll be more than fine. I've said it. I think we'll win the title, and I will say I'm on Don Hussam's channel in 30 minutes. I will say the same over there. By the way, this will take you straight to Don Hassan. Hussein, I'm sorry, mate. Maybe just turn it down. I can't ignore things. Can't ignore people's generosity and super chats. I do apologise. So yes, I think we'll be more than fine. I think we'll get out.
I do think we'll win the league. Spicy potatoes. I'm very optimistic for this season. I think we're going to have I think it's going to be maybe not the same points, but I think it's going to be a bit 17-18 vibe. I think, I've got the vibes of that kind of 17 to 18 period. We're going to be far better than everyone thinks. And Stones is going to be, he's going to play 25.
I do think CATERGORY will stay, Rich, because I don't think many are going to do a flat loan.
No, I don't think it's in their interest to do it.
No. And City don't want to give a compulsory. City want to keep him. What City wanted to do with CHAMPONS is what they've done with Victor Hayes. Send him on loan, let him develop, and then. And the thing is, for me, Rodra, what football now?
Have I frozen or is Martin frozen? Looks like it's just me. Martin, I'm sure we'll be back in a second. Has the clown fan base forgotten how good Rodri is? And is he like a new signing? 110%. He's like a new signing, I think. He was the best midfielder in the world, and he's going to continue to be the best midfielder in the world. I think the only danger with Rodri, I think, for everyone is that we don't overplay him too early. That we don't see, us rely on him like we did in the past, which meant we played him 3 times in a week every week, and we were very afraid not to play him. So yeah, let's let him back in. Let's give him a few games rest, play a game, get a week off, play a game, so that by January.
Told you my internet had crashed.
Yeah, I thought it was me for a minute. So yeah, apologies to everyone. Apologies to everyone when I froze, because I thought it was me. Now, just saying that I think Rodri will be back. We just need to ease him in. We need to give him some weeks off, and we need to focus on him being there January, February, every game.
Yeah, I do apologise about that. Right, we're going to end in a minute. Right,
and Fee was right. I missed an opportunity to just do a Johnny Stones monologue, to talk about the great Stones moments.
He's done as some as no. Do you know what it is with Hussam? Hussam plays a character. Say no, Hussam. When you speak,
he's crashing again. What he's going to say, I'll translate for him on Frozen. Don Hassan, when you speak to him, is a very different person to the character on YouTube.
There you go. Thank you. Right, we're getting out of here before I go again. Right, this is going to take you straight to Donna Sam. Rich, thank you very much. We'll be back Saturday, 7:30, with this little beauty. What's going on now with this? Oh, for God's sake. My whole thing's died. So we'll be back 7:30 on Saturday with Palmero FC versus Manchester City, the live watch along. will be back. That will be set up for 7:30 on Saturday. It's on City TV. Don't forget, make the rivals cry with the 115 always. And also next week, next Wednesday at 11 p.m., Stateside Blues episode 1 begins. As you can see there, and we've got a great panel for you. Episode 1 next Wednesday. So next Wednesday is going to be a really international feel on the channel. We're going to have Blues Down Under, episode 11, and we're going to have episode 1 of Stateside Blues. And I'm not telling you who's on. It's a secret.
The Don.
And also, Rich, thank you, Fee. Follow us on TikTok, Mancunian Way MCFC, and also Instagram. And I will send Fee the link soon. Fee will start putting content on. And also, the podcast will begin by the end of this month as well, episode 1. And hopefully next week, we may get more than just me and Rich on. Because summertime's over now, you lazy sods. Time to get back to work.
It's winter here. The depths of winter. It's hard.
Yes. Mancunian Way goes south. He's on tomorrow morning as well. Alan won't be on for a few days. Alan's going through some very bad personal stuff at the moment. Nothing with him. All I'm going to say is, his mother and father are not well, and we wish him the very, very best. Alan's going to take some time away, so he won't be on any shows moving forward. So, yes, we wish Alan all the best. We're thinking of him at this very unfortunate time for him.
Mm.
So anyway, Rich, final thoughts before we go? Before I die?
You know what? I think everyone needs to cheer up. I think everyone needs to start thinking about getting Foden back to his best. What's Cherky going to be like on the side? Reinders giving his energy. The majesty of John Stones fit. I think there's a lot of excitement, and I wouldn't be wasting any time thinking, we're going to sign Baleba, or are we going to get rid of Trafford 2 days after we signed him and signed Donnarumma? Get excited. Start thinking about what is happening, what is going to happen, and 17-18 coming back again.
There you go then. Right. We'll see you all soon. I'll see you at 11 o'clock on Sam's channel. This will take you straight there. Come and show us a lot of love. And we might do something on a space in a bit. Keep an eye out. But anyway, take care all, and I'll see you all Saturday, 7:30. And as always, on the Blues.
Come on, City.
Come on.